What if I told you that the defenses in the 90s was the worst defenses that we have ever seen? You don't believe me? Let's go look at the data. So many people have heard of this term illegal defense. So in the 90s, they used illegal defense to their advantage. They would make sure that everyone was man to man and that there was no one trying to double team unless you came with a hard trap. So you couldn't be caught in between. So when the ref called illegal defense on someone, that is because they are trapped between guarding their man and trying to double team. So they had to make sure they stick with their man. They were man to man strictly. So Michael Jordan and the Bulls used this to their advantage. They would literally clear out one side and have Jordan work one on one. This happened throughout the 80s, and all of the ISO ball started in the 90s. So when everyone was isolating on everyone, they would clear out the side. As you could see with Isaiah Thomas, who was clearing out the side on John Stockton. So Isaiah could go one on one. So this is what Jordan did. So as we look through all of the series, the Lakers finals, the Blazers finals versus the Suns in the finals, the Sonics in the finals, and then in Utah in the finals, you could see that the Bulls used that triangle offense as an advantage to get Michael Jordan 101 so he could shoot 25 to 30 times a game and take advantage of the defenses. Now, as you could see throughout the 90s, there wasn't too many top players that you could say was on Jordan or guarding Jordan. So when Michael Jordan was going against players like Danny Ainge, Jeff Hornacek, Byron Russell, it was to his advantage because he was a superior athlete to them. LeBron time when he played the NBA, the defenses changed. They started implementing zone defenses. They started to implement more things as time went on because they wanted to get away from this isolation ball. Everyone going one on one. Just imagine if Kobe Bryant was able to go one on one with the weakest defender night after night after night. Or James Harden. Or LeBron James. A lot of times Michael Jordan got an advantage on the other players because he would have a full steam while the center is man to man with their player trying to not get caught in illegal defense. And when Michael Jordan get into the paint, they would come over late and try to block his shot. And they were always too late. That's why Michael Jordan posterized a lot of players in the 90s because they were coming over late trying to guard him because of the illegal defense they were not able to. Now, as we could see in the 2000s when someone like Giannis, they could build a wall. They could build a wall versus Giannis. They could not do that in the 90s versus Jordan. And that's what made scoring for Jordan so easy. And as you look throughout the 90s, there wasn't too many scores as guards. Those scores came later on, like when Kobe Bryant came during Jordan's 12th year. Tracy McGrady came. Like those players came later. So just imagine if Tracy McGrady continued to have defenses like the 90s. He would average 32 points every season. So as we can see, defenses are more complicated today. Just like Isaiah Thomas stated, like it's more complicated to play defense today than it did in the 90s because you could literally isolate everyone and just go one on one. It was ISO ball. And today you have to do a lot of pick and rolls. You got to have everyone shoot. Players today, they're more skilled. They're shooting more shots. They're making more threes. They're better suited for scoring today, unlike the 90s when there was just man to man. Just imagine if Steph Curry, Clay, and Kevin Durant, they would guard them man to man. They would average 150 points a game because there's not much you could do. You go who you gonna go double team because you had to send everybody to them if you was going double team, or you had to stick man to man, and they would beat every person man to man. It's not a problem. Everyone would get beat man to man in the 90s because that's all you could do. Today we could play zone. You could sag off. You couldn't sag off in the 90s. You just all of the times Michael Jordan scored 50 points. Just look at who was guarding him. He was going one on one, shredding these guys. Unlike Kobe and Steph, LeBron, Dwayne Wade, like all of the players, when they implemented better defenses, they did not score 30 points every game easily like Jordan. They actually had to make shots. They just couldn't send everyone to the side and say, okay, Michael Jordan's about to work 1-on-1. And there's nothing that you could do. There's nothing that Shaq could do, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon. They had to come over and help because they were going to clear out one side of the floor just so Jordan could score. And that's how Jordan made his killing in the 90s. And as you can see, the 90s did not have a lot of good scorers. If you put Michael Jordan in, you drop his rookie year in 1959, he would not win one scoring title. He would not win one scoring title. So those scoring titles in the 90s are very overrated because of the defense and because of the competition that was going on and how things were being played. Only Karl Malone averaged 30 points a game in the 90s, and he only did it once. Michael Jordan's last 6 years, 5 times he didn't average 30 points. This is a myth that Michael Jordan just scored at will versus the best players and how he will come today and score 50 points a game. No. Michael Jordan said even himself, he did not like the zone defense. He did not want someone waiting on him when he got to the rim. He didn't want someone cutting off his path. He wanted to work one-on-one. And that's what Jordan did most of his damage, one-on-one.